This is Terry Rose. I've been putting my articles in other formats so you can read, listen, or watch. This one has 2 examples that show how powerful your mind really is and how to use it successfully. It shows you how to get the law of attraction working for you instead of against you. It's called 3 Keys Empower Your Life When You Focus Your Magical Mind Power. My answer to being told I was all wet was to have a sense of humor. When I talked about what is often referred to as the law of attraction, using mind power and our inner resources to reach a goal, it ruffled some feathers. I learned not to argue and instead just use it and get results. Anyone who looked with an open mind could see that I got them. I had had plenty of magical things happen by applying what I learned from books like Think and Grow Rich. There's no doubt that you can change your reality using the power of your mind. The results I saw were mysterious because I watched things happen that defied all known explanations at the time. That was many years before The Secret, when few people had even heard the phrase law of attraction. My fascination was with mind power, and that is what I talked about back when I first discovered it. It became obvious that we create thoughts and energize them with feelings and change outer circumstances. I felt like I had struck gold, and others thought I was crazy. These days, we have a lot of scientific studies that show how powerful our minds are. But when I was growing up, even doctors believed that what you see is what you get. We were told that our brains die a little each day. Now we know that the brain continues growing and changing as you use it. It has a quality of plasticity. You can shape it with your thoughts and feelings. I know that because I would practice seeing things in my mind until it seemed as real as anything that was already real. And then it would show up in one form or another when I did nothing outside of that most of the time. When I did do something extra, it was because I felt prompted. I would get a feeling or an idea that I should call someone or go someplace in particular. With so many new discoveries, now it's easy to see why it works and what you have to do to make it work. A step in the process when needed is to use techniques in place of willpower. Your thoughts and feelings can't be in conflict, and when they are, you don't fight it. You use techniques that help you feel good so those feelings are associated with your mental picture. It's important to make sure that you experience a pleasant feeling in your body as you play in your mind. Discovering that peace gave me a sigh of relief. I hated having to fight things with willpower. Now we have research showing how effective energy work can be. That means doing things like EFT, also known as tapping, or breathing exercises, or meditation. They can end your fight with your willpower. To see some energy work examples you can use, go to masterytips.com/energy work demo. It can be easy when you understand how to use what's been discovered. Then, when you feel stuck, you'll know exactly what to do. The techniques, not willpower, keep you from getting pulled back into your habits and patterns that are destructive. You stop being seduced when something is dangled in front of you that will only destroy your dreams. Energy and breathing techniques calm your body and can activate the part of your brain that is supportive of you. Even simple breathing techniques like the 4-7-8 one made famous by Dr. Andrew Weil can quickly put you back into the optimal state for creative work. I've lived life watching miraculous things happen when I apply myself this way. Things have a way of showing up for me just like Napoleon Hill claimed that they would in his famous quote, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve." I'm talking about changes that come about in a very real, tangible way. You don't have to understand the science, but sometimes knowing their explanations helps you believe it enough to do it. If it helps you, I've compiled a lot of information that explains why it works when you do all of the steps correctly. I show how to use them correctly. You can get my free training and join my webinars and calls by going to masterytips.com. Sometimes when things aren't working, you have to look for subconscious blocks and patterns that cause energy blocks. Without even knowing it, the energy from your feelings about the situation can create a wall of energy that holds you back in life. It can make you feel stuck or trapped when things stay the same. You fix that by doing what I call the manifesting dance. You step back when needed and use techniques that melt the feeling, the energy that is acting as a block. What you must always do is pay attention to the 3 keys. Pay attention to what your mind is focused on. Pay attention to what those thoughts cause your body to feel, Pay attention to what you resonate into the field because of your thoughts and feelings. When those key pieces are in place, you can manifest your dreams. Why that happens involves very complex science. However, simply stated, your heart and brain create electromagnetic energy that resonates from you outside of your body. Your energy, or the light that is shown to emit from you, carries information. Scientific studies show that your intentions and your observations affect matter. Scientists studying intention have measured faster healing in animals, growth differences in plants and bacteria, and changes in the pH of water. You have the inner technology that allows you to shift waves into particles. Infinite possibilities exist, and your focus can collapse them into one that you're creating and observing in your mind. Here's an example. You probably would have bet $1 million that it never would have happened in 1 million years. Somehow, the act of creating a clear mental vision and fueling it with feelings of sheer determination and expectation led to this curious result. I was born with an obsession. From the youngest age I can remember, all I thought about was horses. Here was the problem with that. I was a city kid with parents who acted like they hated them. The underlying reason for Dad's attitude was that he was terrified of his kids getting hurt. He wanted to protect us from everything. I think I heard a lecture about looking both ways when I crossed the street every time I went out the door. Mom's overprotectiveness, sadly, came about because her good friend was killed in a freak horse accident. It didn't help that her only sibling, her twin sister, died just before their 12th birthday. Mom was like a mother bear who would do anything to keep her kids safe. Needless to say, horses were high on her list of threats. Can you see how I didn't stand a chance of owning my own horse when I was under their roof? I'll never forget how angry I was one time when I was around 12 years old. My dad ruined my life by telling me I couldn't go horseback riding with a friend and her family. I begged, I cried, I stomped around, I fumed. Nope, no kid of his was going out horseback riding. A pony ride in a corral going in circles tied to a walker, yes. But real riding, being on the back of a horse, enjoying the beauty of nature while doing what I loved, not over his dead body. Now I understand, but not back then. I kept telling myself that one day I would own a horse. It was so real in my mind that I just knew it. I lived it. I made it real. After asking for what seemed like the 100th time, which normally only got me in big trouble, that day I was told, yes, I was told, you're on your own. You go figure it out. You pay for it. You care for it. I did, and they didn't stop me. At the age of 15, I became the proud owner of my first horse. How could it be that something so unlikely that I created in my imagination showed up in my life while living under my parents' roof? Really, it made no sense by normal standards. If this was an isolated incident, I wouldn't have thought anything about it, but it wasn't, so I became a believer. I'll give you another example. Years ago, I used to do a lot of singing and guitar playing. I was the solo act one night and woke up sick that day. I'm talking about really sick with the flu and all the symptoms of a severe cold. Something magical happened, though, that I now know manifested because of my attitude, my feelings about it, and from focusing my mind power. I got angry and had what I call a slam your fist down moment. I refused to be sick and miss that gig, and then I never once imagined that possibility. I simply told myself with determination that I would be fine and able to perform. Although I sneezed, ached, and could barely talk because of congestion, I kept my mind on the vision of singing, laughing, having a good time, and never once did I let my thoughts go to the idea that I wouldn't make it. I didn't call to warn anyone that I might not be able to sing. I didn't wonder if I would be wasting my time getting my clothes ready and fixing my hair. I went through the day as if. When the time came, I walked out the door with my guitar and headed to my car. By the time I arrived, the sickness had melted away as if it was never there. I walked in and had the time of my life. That is just one of a lifetime of experiences where I simply said no to something that showed up as a possibility. I immediately created a vision of something that did not yet exist. Then I watched it happen. I've helped many people master the steps and do the same thing, so please don't think we have something you don't. We are all designed with inner technology that should be making life happier and healthier. Get my free how-to checklist and videos right now by going to masterytips.com. The feedback sent to me includes descriptions like packed with essential information, amazing, brilliant, rich, and a treasure. I created the materials to help reduce stress, pain, and suffering and increase or improve health, abundance, and happiness. I hope they help you too. Just go to masterytips.com.